done it yet, that might explain why I couldn't see it.
Right, yep.
Oh, I have 4:30.
Okay, it is 4:30 and I will call the Committee on Equity, Diversity and Inclusion to order. Let the minutes reflect that our committee chair, Brian Jackson, is out with an excused absence. All other committee members are present. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from August 14th.
I will make a motion to approve minutes for August 14th.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right. They are accepted. Public comment on agenda items. I don't see any members of the public here, and I don't believe we have public comment today. All right, let's move to number 4, item B, discussion on city programs for the city to consider. Now, this was brought about earlier this calendar year. We had the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer from Ingham County come in and give a presentation to us. We also took notes from our own DEI personnel on items that they are working on here internally with the city. And over the last several months, this committee has sort of compared and contrasted the different services that are available to City of Lansing residences. So do you have any comments that you would like to add on this topic?
No comments. You said it very clearly. Just comparing and contrasting the two entities and making sure there was trying not to have as many gaps. So there's no other comment regarding that. I think between the two agencies, we have a clear support for the city, our residents.
Okay. I also feel that way. I think that we have done a fair deal of comparison here between the two. And in an effort to not duplicate services that the county is already providing, I would be comfortable with closing out this issue with this committee as a discussion topic. And I would entertain a motion to close this item out.
I make the motion to close out the city programs for city to consider.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right. Motion passes. On to item C, the discussion on budget priorities for the fiscal year 2025-2026. And now I do have a quick question for Sherry.
Yeah.
These first 3 paragraphs in what was included in last year's budget priorities, those would remain. Is that correct? It's a description of.
Yep, so the first 2 paragraphs are from your city council rules.
Right.
Under, I think it's rule 16, which speaks to what each committee is charged with doing.
Okay.
So this is just for your information only.
Okay.
This is the now, there, whereas from the overall budget priorities resolution that will get adopted. So what you decide today will be this last paragraph that we will insert into the larger picture.
Perfect. Thank you. So we do have a list of 7 priorities that this committee has come up with. So I will begin at the top and read through. After I read through each priority, we can have a discussion on each as we go through these.
Sounds good.
Okay, the first is for housing support, and the request would be for $200,000. The committee recommends creating a comprehensive plan that addresses the unique needs of our unhoused populations that include the unhoused, sheltered, transit, and individuals suffering with addiction, mental health, and physical needs. Equitable housing options for a diverse unhoused population, i.e. supporting diverse housing needs such as shelters, warming and cooling centers, and those that prefer not to be sheltered, and transit populations.
I think for this one, just based off of the conversation from our 2023 into 2024, the conversations from a lot of public comment, stating that we need a housing plan for the city of Lansing, and just to show that support across the board that encompasses everyone's needs in our unhoused population. So just really hearing and listening to our constituents on seeing if we can capture and support that need for our next fiscal year.
Okay, and it is my understanding that, well, we do have the money that was allocated for these purposes from, I believe it was the current budget or there was an amount of $800,000 that was accepted to use for these purposes and will be used during this upcoming season. But again, this is in an effort to support that work, to sustain this into the next fiscal year and hopefully beyond.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 2, DEI implementation in the amount of $100,000. The committee recommends adding a DEI implementation specialist to work alongside the DEI officer and department leaders and staff to assist in implementation DEI strategies.
Mm-hmm. And I think with this, we started off this year with a great public comment on regarding some societal and world issues that are transpiring. I think with us having a specialist that can work alongside with our DEI officer, it will be more, it'll be easier to navigate through those series of events, especially when it came to the summer. We had constituents speak about being more inclusive with the flags, the visibility of that, just having those ongoing conversations and have a subject matter expert that can help with that dialogue. So, and that may help prior to April going to council.
Okay, correct. And I believe that is true of the conversations we have had throughout the year and different items that have come before us. The third priority deals with citizen complaints in the amount of $50,000. The committee recommends creating and deploying a complaint awareness campaign identifying the citizen complaint process and history of general outcomes. And I do believe that this addresses a conversation that we had in this committee, not necessarily dealing with city departments, but with any business or entity within the city of Lansing. And if residents feel that they are being treated unfairly, how do they lodge a complaint? And we had discussed that some of our population may not know where to look for that information.
Correct. Yes, or even have access to that portal. So this campaign will allow residents to be more aware of how to access that in the event there is a citizen.
Down to the fourth item. This is veterans assistance in the amount of $100,000. The committee recommends adding a veterans assistance specialist to assist veterans in applying for city jobs, access resources, and housing support.
And so although we have several resources currently that assist with our those who have served in our population, it is this will be an additional assistance to those who may have challenges with accessing, again, those particular portals or even having the accessibility. So this assistance will help make things more notable for those who have served in all capacities.
I agree. And when we look at city jobs, for instance, we may have qualifiers for our jobs listed in the position description. And how would that previous military service translate into our requirements? So to have that assistance could really go a long way in ensuring that we are able to employ veterans and that they don't feel excluded from our job postings in any way. The fifth item is for youth opportunities in the amount of $100,000. The committee recommends creating youth opportunities, apprenticeships, internships, job shadowing, and paid positions where youth can learn, participate in public and civic engagement, and have a paid experience.
And just looking at what we're hearing from various residents and in neighborhood engagement meetings, our youth is we're projecting to our youth to take into this new realm, and we want to make sure that we're inclusive and we're incorporating them in our day-to-day activities when it comes to our civic engagement overall. So it's important to have that opportunity for those to come in, learn those skill sets, and maybe be able to take that out, even whether it's in job or higher education. So this will give an opportunity for those individuals to partake in that.
Okay, wonderful. Our sixth item, and as I read this, I may have a question for our attorney here, just to validate some of the information that we had agreed to include. As to onboarding and DEI training, the committee recommends all departments and branches of local government, including boards and commissions, receive onboarding and DEI training to ensure quality of work and cultural move meeting role expectations. So my question is specifically about our current structure for boards and commissions. I know that they typically would receive an ethics training and maybe the rules for that particular board, but do you know if our boards and commissions receive DEI training?
There has not been a council resolution requiring DEI training. The requirement for the ethics training and Open Meetings Act and things like that was established via council resolution.
Okay.
So does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Interested in amending that resolution to include this, or would you prefer just leaving it in the budget priority for the mayor's budget?
Again, a question for our attorney. Would you happen to know if there is an additional cost associated with presenting a DEI training versus the other types of trainings that are already provided?
A lawyer's favorite answer. Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
It depends. The current training that the boards and commissions receive is modeled off of the training that you receive each
Correct.
year. It was something that the Office of the City Attorney essentially videotaped. One of our attorneys presenting that information, they watch it. I am not sure in regards to the DEI aspect of things, whether we'd have to contract with an outside entity in order to prepare and present, and in what way, the entity would they want to do separate trainings? Obviously, costs go into that. So I think it depends.
Okay. So at this time, I am comfortable leaving this in budget priorities in the event that it does incur what would be considered a significant cost
Right.
to implement. If by chance it does not, then I think at a later date, we can amend this priority and look toward the resolution and how we can move to incorporate that in that way.
That works.
Okay, and our seventh and final item addresses disability inclusion in the amount of $150,000. This committee recommends hiring a disability consultant to address the needs of persons with seen and unseen disabilities. The consultant could address creating an inclusive culture, making adaptive accommodations, providing additional support in the community and in homes, and infrastructure investments to support those with visual impairments, amongst others who have specialized conditions.
And that pretty much speaks for itself. I think it's important for our community, and we've heard it at various meetings, including recent charter commission meetings, that and those who have attended some of our EDI sessions, that we cannot ignore that we do have our population that has seen and unseen disabilities, whether that is mental health impairments or physical impairments that require certain assistance. So I think this is necessary so that we can make sure that we're fully inclusive as a community.
Okay, I agree. And so that being said, we have exhausted our list of budget priority items on behalf of the EDI committee. And I would entertain a motion to place these in the official budget priority document.
I make a motion to accept the budget priorities for this year 2025, 2026.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Do we have any other business that you would like to address, Councilwoman Carter?
I know. No, I think that was the gist of it, so I'm all set.
Okay,
Thank you, Chair.
yes.
Vice Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no other business, we will conclude at 4:45 PM.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question for
Thank-
you.